Hi friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to take you along with me as I prep for the week ahead on a Sunday afternoon. I found that when I set some time aside, the week goes much smoother, and honestly this is really restful for me to get organized and plan out the week. So as you can see here, I'm working on some meal planning and also some of our daily rhythms for the week. We bought this calendar from Family Teams. We actually worked through a course about living rhythmically. We're still working through that, but we bought this calendar from them, and I love how it has so much space. There's a section to write your grocery list, your meal plan, prayer requests, praises, and a section to write in things that you have going on each day. The next thing that I'm doing is we had some family stay with us when my daughter had her birthday party, and so I never got around to putting the sheets back on the bed, so I'm just putting the sheets back on. This is our guest room that we use when people come and visit us, and we have this trundle bed that we bought from IKEA. It's a twin, but then it can pull out into a king-size bed, which is really helpful for when you have a small space but want to have room for your guests. Okay, so the next thing that I'm doing, and I am folding the kids' clothes. I was so behind on laundry. You're going to see that in this video. I've tried folding it during the day, but sometimes it goes well, and sometimes my daughter will just kind of pull things on the ground after I've already folded them. So honestly, it was kind of relaxing for me to fold the laundry when I had some time to myself. So I've shared on my Instagram and on my blog that I sew a lot of my kids' clothing. I made a capsule wardrobe for my daughter a couple of months ago that she's starting to outgrow it, but I actually don't know if I'll sew her a capsule wardrobe for the winter, because I had a lot of pieces that I sewed for my son that she'll fit into that are gender neutral, and I think will work really well for her too. And then she also was gifted a lot of beautiful clothes from family and friends for her birthday. So I am pretty set on clothes for her, and honestly we have a pretty small space and limited storage, and so I try to minimize the amount of clothing that I have for my kids. Something that I started doing recently is laying out not only my clothes for every day of the week, but also my kids' clothes, including their pajamas. So one of my, it's actually my husband's aunt. She recommended using one of these closet organizers, and it only has 6 spots, but I usually just lay out the first day on the bed, and then I put our clothes in those sections. There's plenty of space for the 3 of us, and it makes getting ready in the morning so easy. I used to not do this, and then we would be rushing. It was usually when I was behind on laundry and I could never find my clothes or the kids' clothes, and then we would be late to meeting friends or just wouldn't get dressed until like the afternoon. And I found that just taking 20 or 30 minutes to set things out makes for a much smoother week. It's also less laundry that I have to put away, because I can just pull things and set it out for the week. The next thing I'm doing is more laundry. I told you I was really behind. I'm also going to switch out my kids' books. So I used to teach first grade, and I have so many children's books. It is my weakness. I like to keep things fairly minimal, except with books. I love books so much. And we also go to the library regularly. And so I went ahead and set out some new books for them using this little organizer. I believe I bought it at IKEA. And then I also set out books in baskets and just try to have them around our house. I really care about having a literacy-rich environment for my kids and exposing them to books as much as possible. Alright, the next thing that I'm going to do is switch out my kids' toys. I don't do this every week. I would like to, but sometimes our weekends are kind of busy and I don't get to it, or sometimes my kids are just really enjoying the toys that they have out, and so I don't switch them. I use this big bench that we got at a garage sale a couple of years ago to store their books, and then I keep the rest of their toys in this like cart in below our stairs, but honestly I need to find a better system because it's kind of hard to get to. As you can see in the clip before this, I had a lot of toys that were out. My kids know how to find them, and so I'd like to keep it where we have not as many out, and so they can just make the most of the toys that they have and then not get bored with them, and then I'll switch them out the next week. But it's not a perfect system, but this is what we're kind of working towards. My son has been really into dinosaurs recently, and so I took this long sheet of paper and I'm drawing. I'm not an amazing artist. I come from a family of artists, but I can draw stick figures. But that's okay, he doesn't mind. So I'm just drawing like some different habitats for him to put his dinosaurs in. I also have a sticker book of dinosaurs, and just kind of want to see what he comes up with. We've done this several times and he really, really enjoys it and just gets really creative with using it as a place to play with his dinosaurs. We've also done this with different types of plastic animals. I'm setting up a little station for my daughter. This corner has been where I've put her toys since she was born. We used to use some Montessori mobiles over here. Now she can get into pretty much all of the toys, but it's nice to have kind of a designated spot with books and toys that are developmentally on her level. This room is looking so much better already. Okay, and now you'll see that I'm prepping for dinner. We usually plan a special dinner for our Sabbath, and we were going to have this meal on Saturday night, but we ended up going to a museum, and we decided to get pizza while we were out and save this for the following night. I typically do breakfast for dinner on Sundays because it's simple, it's easy cleanup, but we made kind of a bigger meal because it was the one that I had planned for the night before. So I'm going to make some gnocchi with steak. I don't know if I'm saying gnocchi right. That's how I've always pronounced it, but I don't know if that's actually correct. With steak and mushrooms, and then I have some fresh zucchini that I pulled from our garden a couple days ago that I need to use up. So I looked up some recipes, and I actually just kind of combined a few of them when I was making this. I did follow a recipe for the steak. It was a ribeye steak. We bought an eighth of a cow earlier this year from a local farmer. It was grass-fed and grass-finished, and the meat is so good. And so I am pretty new to cooking with a lot of the cuts that we got, and so I usually look up some recipes, and this one turned out really good. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and slice up that zucchini, and we only have one zucchini plant right now, but it's been giving us a couple zucchini a week. I started off with more, but some of them got some diseases and just kind of were overtaking my tomatoes, and so I pulled some of them and fed them to the chickens. But I think next year I'll probably try to plant a few more so that I can preserve it. Okay, so let's see. I had this can of diced tomatoes that I found in my pantry that I needed to use up, and then I'm adding a little bit of dry white wine to my mushrooms. And this is the gnocchi sauce. It's just some butter and heavy whipping cream and parmesan. I was actually running super low on ingredients, but was able to make it stretch. And I added those crushed tomatoes to my zucchini. I'll try to put a brief outline of the recipe below. Like I said, I kind of made some of it up as I went, but I'll try to give some at least guidelines if you want to try this at home. So what I did with the ribeye is I took it out of the packaging, and then I patted it dry with a paper towel, and then I seasoned it with some salt and fresh cracked pepper. I'm actually getting some steak seasoning from Azure Standard that I'm picking up later this week, and so I'm really excited to start using that on our meat. But for now, salt and pepper has been really good. And then I actually went back later and added some olive oil to it as well. Okay, I'm going to combine the mushrooms and the cream sauce. This ended up being so good. I wasn't sure because I kind of made some of it up as I went, but it ended up being really good. Okay, yeah, there's the olive oil like I mentioned, and I just rubbed that on both sides. And I have been preheating the oven. I think it's 400 degrees. No, you know what? It was 500. It was really, really hot in the kitchen. I was like sweating this whole time. And I seared the steak on both sides on high heat for 30 seconds. And then I put it back in the oven. I think I cooked it for 2 to 3 minutes on each side. Our cuts were pretty thin, and so if you like your steak more rare, I would probably do it for less, but I like my steak more well done. So this worked for me, but again, I'm still learning. Okay, so this is, gnocchi is so easy to cook, especially if you're buying store-bought. You just put it in a boiling water and it takes like 2 to 3 minutes. Once it bubbles to the top, it is done. So I'm putting that in, continuing to cook the zucchini and tomatoes. I think I added some salt and pepper and maybe a little bit of garlic powder to it as well. If you see my dog with that weird collar, he can get out of our fence. And so my husband had the idea to buy this for him when he goes outside, and it's kept him from getting out. And yeah, that's why he's got that pillow thing on his head. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep my eye on everything. I had quite a bit going on at this point, so just trying to make sure nothing burned. Waiting on the steak. Yes, it was very hot, and I'm very tired by this point. Okay, so the gnocchi's ready. I'm just gonna spoon that out into the sauce. Get a little bit of a closer look at that here. It's so good. We usually just do like a basic cream sauce with this, but we really like mushrooms and thought it would go really well with the steak. So it was fun to try this. And I added a little bit of, I think it was oregano and thyme, and then added in the steak and just folded it in. This was definitely not a light meal, but it was very, very hot. Thank you so much for watching, friends, and I hope that you enjoyed coming along with me on a Sunday afternoon to prep for the week ahead. If you are not already subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you would subscribe, and I will share more slow living content soon. Bye! Good.